Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, All Things GarageBand. I'm Jeremy Haas. Today I'm going to show you guys how to split up your drum tracks into separate entities. You know, your snare track, your kick, your toms, your overheads, parallel compression, parallel distortion, drum room, snare verb, all that good stuff. So you have total control over each piece of your drum kit, okay? This is part of my Build a Song and GarageBand series, so yeah, let's do this. Yeah. Alright guys, so here we are in GarageBand, and we're just splitting things up today, but that's going to take a little while, so we'll get back to like dialing each piece in. Let me just play it real quick. It's not all dialed in yet, we'll do that together, but just give you kind of an idea what I'm talking about. There's your overheads, your kick, your snare, your toms, drum room, snare verb, parallel compression, parallel grid, okay? Anyways, let's start with making our overheads, okay? So what we'll do is I'll show you, this is how you do this. Okay, so we've got our original drum track. This is in the last video if you're watching this in the series. So now we've got our original MIDI that we bounced over from Drummer. And so what you're going to do is you're going to hit Command D on your keyboard when it's lit up, when this region's lit up, or right click and copy, or or new track with duplicate settings. Command D does this for you. So Command D, bam, makes a new track. And then you light up this region and hold down Option and pull this bad boy down. And there, you got the same track, everything the same, okay? And you know, same settings, everything. And the reason we did this is I duplicated it from this track because in the last video I don't know if we did this, but if we haven't, you want to put yourself a directional mixer on there, okay? So just in case you didn't, a directional mixer is so you'll go find this bad boy down in imaging and click on directional mixer, okay? And then what you'll do is you'll take this direction and you'll flip it 180 degrees. It just flips your drum set, okay? Because you want to hear it as if you're listening through speakers and like it's speakers coming facing towards me or facing towards you, you want it to sound like you're listening to the drums from in front of them, not sitting behind them, okay? So that's what that does. It flips them around so it sounds like you're listening from in front of them. It's just your drummers will appreciate you, drummers. So for this, and so by duplicating it, if you make sure you just have it, whatever track you're duplicating, make sure that's on there first, and then you don't have to remember to do it for each track because you don't want one to have it and not another, or it's just gonna muddy up your stuff and sound weird, okay? Because you got your snare is kind of off to the one side, you got your hi-hat off to one side, your toms are split up. So if you switch it, it's gonna actually destroy. It's not gonna sound good, okay? So so now you made that second track we just bounced. Okay, so we're turning this into overheads. I've got them right here, but what you're gonna want to do is I always name mine, so you can right click and you can rename, or Command Shift, Shift return I'll bring up like this, and then just name it. Okay. All right, so here's your overheads. So overheads, you want them to sound, you want mostly cymbals and because your hi-hats and rides, we're not going to split all those up, it's just a lot to do. You can do that if you want, but so what I do is I make sure that you just barely hear the kick and the snare and the toms. You just want them a little bit there, but not completely, because we're going to have our own own separate kick, snare, and toms, okay? We mostly want cymbals, hi-hats, and ride, okay? So check this out. Okay, so right here you can turn down your kick. It's probably going to be up here at first, so you turn those guys down. I turned up my hi-hats and cymbals a little bit, and my toms, toms are pretty quiet anyway, so check this out. This is the only place my toms are right there. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, so they're up a little higher, but yeah. Okay, so and also always turn down your room. We're gonna add reverb to all this later. It's gonna be too much if each track has extra room on there, okay? And then also it's a good idea to, we'll get to kick dampen and snare dampen. Don't worry about it right now. We'll get there though, okay? So that's your overheads. Now I'm not gonna we're gonna come back later and dial in each overhead, kick, snare, and all that stuff. I'm just showing you guys how to split them up today. But in the next couple of videos, I'm gonna show you guys how to dial those in, and we're gonna use free compressors. I'll show you guys where you can go download this for free, a safe site. And yeah, they're sick. They're great compressors of different types. And actually, I'm going to show you not just for drums, but for vocals, for compressors for vocals, bass, everything, guitars, that kind of stuff. Okay. So, anyways, we got our overheads done. So the next thing you're going to do is I like to copy always from the original MIDI, not that because the overheads are set differently, that kind of stuff. So so it's just good practice to now go back. So now that we're just going to duplicate it like you did this last time right here. Okay, so now say we just duplicated that again. Okay, now we've got that duplication, and we're going to go down to our kick. Okay, so here's our kick. This is the kick. This is what it sounds like. I got it dialed in a little bit. Hear it? All right, so basically with the kick, let me show you what it looks like. We turned off everything but the kick and turned that kick up a little bit. I like to turn it up. Here, let's play it with the overheads actually. A little loud, but I'm not gonna dial it in completely right now. So the kick's good. So we got the kick, and again, I'll show you guys how to dial that in a little bit more with using a compressor and channel EQ. Again, you know, I like the kick dampen about halfway. It's up to you. Like the more it's like when you dampen it, it's like having a pillow in there or not. You know, that's how I look at it. And it depends on your genre too. Like this is more of a punk rockish song than metal, but I do a lot of metal also. And I would do less dampening if it was metal. I'd want that tight kick. But this is in between, so that's where it is. Okay. So you got your kick now, and we're gonna remember to name your stuff too, because we've got a lot of tracks going on here. Okay, and so we're gonna do the same thing for snare. This is pretty simple, it's pretty self-explanatory. So you just copy. We're gonna duplicate from this original track like we did, and then also turn off everything but the snare. And then I didn't use a snare dampen on this, but let's take a listen and see. Let me turn off these effects here. Oh, I forgot to turn off my master too. Okay, that's what it should sound like. So let's see if this helps at all. That's good. That's good right about there, I think. Okay, so let's see with the overheads and the kick and the snare now. Again, we'll come back and dial this in. I'm just splitting these bad boys up right now, okay? So, okay, next is toms. So, again, same process. Just copy, duplicate it, copy it, name it. And toms, we're going to single out everything but the toms. Very self-explanatory. Okay, no room, again, nothing. We're just going to make sure toms are a little, I like them to have a little bit louder than they have them usually, so I turn those up a little bit, okay? So, you're going to hear, toms are right here. Okay, so that's our toms right there. Very simple there. Okay, so the next is drum room. Okay, drum room and snare verb. This is our reverb, and these are different. These are buses. Logic Pro, which is GarageBand's bigger brother, has a paid version. It's the paid version of GarageBand. Basically, it's the one I use every day. It's my favorite recording DAW. I started on GarageBand. I used it for like 10-15 years, and on the iPad and iPhone also. But I graduated to Logic Pro. It's sick. I mean, it's there's nothing better than Logic Pro for the Mac, especially. Okay, so I think personally, but anyway, so but sends the buses are like it's what it is you create, like you give it. It's the drum room is the reverb for the whole kit, giving it space, sound like it's in a room. Okay, and what you do is why you do this and not on the whole kit is you use this to bring it in a little bit so it doesn't affect the actual sound of the kit. That's what you're doing here, okay? So this is our drum room. We're not going to dial this in right now. We're just making like I said, making the tracks. But so go ahead and duplicate, make yourself a drum room, but check this out. Okay, so drum room, I usually keep it about the same as I would my original. Yeah, you can see about my original drums here. See, they're not changing, but yeah, so you want your drum room to stay about the same. And I might, for the drum room, I might drop the cymbals down a little bit, or the hi-hat, or that a little bit. It's up to you what you want there, okay? And then in the next, that's what we're gonna hit with the next video, is I'm gonna show you how to dial in your drum room and your snare verb together, okay? And a snare verb, okay, so once we're done with drum room, let me show you what it sounds like real quick. Well, this is after you dial it in. This is what it's gonna be doing. You just want it to feel it, not hear it too much, okay? So yeah, because it's going to start building up, especially when we got our snare verb going, and parallel compression, P comp, and P grit, which is parallel grit or parallel distortion. Okay, and so snare verb, all you're going to do is now, instead of copying this original drums, you're going to go to your snare and you're going to copy this bad boy. Okay, and once you got that copied, you have just a snare singled out there. I'm going to show you guys how to dial that in, like I said, next video also. Okay, so we got our snare verb. It'll be ready, and this is kind of what the snare verb sounds like. It's to give the trail, some trail to the snare. Okay, so. Okay. And you don't want that too much on the snare, because it'll start diminishing your snare also. Okay, but anyways. So, and next is parallel compression, and this is totally, this is a lot of fun. This gives your drums punch and life. Okay, so you've got basically what I'm going to do with parallel compression. I'll usually copy the original drum kit, but I do not. I take out all cymbals out of this, okay? Because it'll make it wobbly sounding. You do not want cymbals in this, okay? And but like I said, we'll get back and we'll dial this in later. We're just splitting up drums today. So, and the next one is parallel grit, okay? And parallel grit, what I do with parallel grit is I copy the parallel compression and I duplicate, Command D, duplicate it, and then name it parallel grit, okay? And then yeah, because it's basically going to use the same compression and everything, and mostly the same EQ as your parallel compression, parallel distortion is going to use, except you're going to put some distortion on the end, okay? And what parallel distortion does is it gives your drum set it makes it sound a little bit more like real drums. When you record real drums, they have a little bit of distortion, a little bit of, it's MIDI is too clean, and then if you really don't want it to sound like you're just using programmed MIDI drums, you want to sound like a real drummer, you gotta make it a little unclean, and that's parallel distortion or parallel grit for you, okay? And let me show you, I didn't show you parallel compression yet. Let me show you that real quick. That's that's parallel grit, my bad. Okay, that's parallel grit, that's your distortion sound. You just barely want this in there, just to make them sound a little bit more real. And parallel compression is your punch, your life of your drums, okay? Okay, so with all these together, which we'll, like I said, we'll dial these in next time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. All right, cool. So now we got to split up. We're all good. Remember to save that, name them all. Sometimes you can color them. What I'll do is I'll go over here and for different, for the pieces, I'll right click right here and I'll go to drums and I'll pick out a certain drum kit. It's just nice to do that and to name everything, color everything. Probably color these a little bit different greens or change the color altogether so people don't go, oh, MIDI right away. Just, whatever. Let's trick them, And so, yeah, that's what I like to do. All right, one other thing I want to mention real quick is that I'm going to be consolidating both my channels into one. That's All Things GarageBand and All Things Logic. I'm going to teach everything on one channel. I'm probably going to keep this one, All Things GarageBand, but we'll change the name soon, okay, to Land of Oz Studios, which is my last name. Take on Wizard of Oz, Land of Oz. Anyways, so yeah, and I'll be teaching all kinds of other stuff besides GarageBand and Logic Pro. I'm going to show you all kinds of good stuff, also guitar stuff, bass, all these different tricks, different equipment, that kind of good stuff. Everything you do in a studio. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. Please subscribe. I'm Jeremy Haas. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That leaves it wide open. See you guys.
Bye.